To kick off this month's newsletter, let's have a look at a great desktop and iPad app. This is Mobile Noter. As you can see, it's available for the iPhone, the iPad, as well as the Android and the BlackBerry. Basically, what it allows you to do is to synchronize your Microsoft OneNote between your desktop and these devices. So typically what you do is install the OneNote software onto your desktop. That then synchronizes the OneNote files into the cloud, and then your mobile device can then pick those up and synchronize those and view them and make changes on the device as well. So again, the prices are very cheap. It's only about $15 a year for a subscription, and basically makes your OneNotes available and synchronizes them between all the devices. So highly recommended application. Use it quite regularly and think it provides additional functionality to OneNote, and you get also the additional benefit that if you store the OneNote on a SharePoint site, that you'll also have that synchronized as well. So one of the other things I covered in the newsletter was the fact that I'd recently upgraded to a Windows Phone 7 device and was a little bit disappointed in the experience that I've had. So obviously this could be a fact that I've only just got the device and still coming to grips with it, but I haven't found it as good a phone device as I would have thought it would have been. It seems to me that the majority of the device now is for fiddling, is for doing Facebook, is doing things that aren't related to a phone. So a couple of peeves that I've got, for example, if you look at this example on the screen, is you can see that it has got the bright blue tiles and the bright white writing, which does make it a little bit difficult to read. You can change that, but they tend to be very bright colours, so it does make it a bit difficult to read. You'll also generally notice that, look, the tiles are there and they are a different way of navigating, but as you can see, there's a significant amount of white space or available space around these tiles. I seem to think that the text, for example, here could be much bigger and made it much easier to read. So, I mean, the interface is good. I suppose the biggest issue that I have is that to work with this phone, rather than sliding across like you do with an iPhone, you generally have to slide up the interface. Now, to me, that makes the phone very unstable when trying to operate it with a single hand. So again, if you're trying to reach a call or answer a call very quickly, sliding up tends to unbalance the phone in the hand, and a couple of instances I've had, the phone has actually popped out of my hand. So I'll keep working with it and trying to see how it goes, but at this stage not so impressed with the Windows Phone stuff. I think it still has a long way to go, but look, again, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt and keep working on it at this stage. One of the surprises, I suppose, with the Windows Phone 7 was that it uses the Zune software to connect up and update and also synchronize your media. Now, having used iTunes and finding that a very poor interface generally for a PC experience, I found that the Zune is a completely new breath of fresh air. It's really good little application, works really well with the mobile phone 7, and it also works fantastically with the media that I have. So it picked up the songs that I had. It allows me to easily subscribe and control the podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. So I think it's a pretty good piece of software for synchronizing your media, and obviously if you live in a Microsoft world, then it's going to allow you to connect not only your Windows Phone 7, your PCs, but probably also to your Xbox. Haven't quite got that far myself, but look, I think it's definitely worth having a look. My understanding is unfortunately that the Zune product is going away. I don't know what's going to happen to the Zune software. It may be renamed and repurposed, and certainly hope it is, because I think it is a really good piece of software visually and also interface and usability wise. So if you haven't had a look at the Zune software, look, I'd suggest it's worthwhile having a look, and in preference maybe to iTunes, but you know, I think that's been the surprise packet of the Windows Phone 7 experience I've had so far. Now, one of the other things that have released recently is you can now join the beta of Office 365. So this basically allows you to, if you go to www.office365.com, you can sign up for the beta, and this will give you access to online versions of Exchange 2010, SharePoint 2010, Link for communications, as well as a number of other features. And again, you can see that one of the big pushes is that it integrates with the Windows Phone 7. Now, again, for those of you who aren't in Australia, it's definitely worthwhile getting in there, having a look, reserving a domain name, having a fiddle. Doesn't cost you anything. Gives you access to Office web apps, email, calendaring, all sorts of stuff. So again, highly recommend that, if you haven't had a look, that you drop in and have a look. Now, unfortunately for us here in Australia, if you go to sign up, you'll notice that up the top of the list here, you don't see any option for Australia. So Australia is the only country in the world that currently has an exclusive agreement between Microsoft Online and a major telco, being Telstra. So at this stage, there currently isn't a beta option available for businesses in Australia, which is a very sad fact, as I see a lot of the functionality for Office 365 should be made available to small businesses, and they should be the ones testing it. But we have to deal with the situation as it is. I have no confirmed dates or ideas or indications of when the beta or the release date may come to Australia. So if you're in Australia and you really want to have a look, feel free to get in contact with me, and I can give you a demo and perhaps give you access to the beta copy that I have. Since I've been on the early adopter program, quite happy and willing to show you that. There's nothing particularly stopping you signing up and saying that you're from another country. The only downside with that is that when the Office 365 product does release and converts over to a normal version, you won't be able to continue with that version. Basically, you will have to migrate your data across. So some downsides there. So it's important to consider that, and it is very frustrating for people who are looking to outsource some of this infrastructure and get access to some of the great features of Office 365. But if you're in Australia, yes, we are a little bit hamstrung by our environment, and at this stage there's not much we can do about it. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me for more information. So that's about it from this month's edition of the CIAOPS video newsletter. Please stay tuned for future updates.